makers of Postum, the favorite mealtime drink in millions of American homes, present those two lovable old characters from the hill country, Lum and Abner. Does it ever happen that just when it would be to your advantage to make an especially good impression on someone, say your boss or a customer or somebody else, that you just aren't feeling your best? That your disposition suffers because of indigestion? Well, it's not only a disadvantage, but really a pity to let an upset digestion make you grouchy and irritable. So stop and think. Maybe coffee nerves is to blame for it. For the simple reason that while many people can drink coffee and not feel upset, many others just can't take coffee. So let me suggest, if you suspect coffee gives you indigestion, that you...
Talking again, get married. I'm bored.
No stimulant, nothing that could possibly upset your digestion. Postum has its own distinctive, full-bodied flavor. Steaming in the cup, it's a truly heartening, cheering mealtime drink. And you can easily afford Postum, too, for it actually costs less than 1/2 cent a cup. By all means, friends, if coffee is spoiling your digestion and making life miserable, give up coffee and drink Postum instead. See if your digestion doesn't improve even in a few days. And after 2 weeks, long enough to give Postum a really fair trial, see if you don't honestly feel a whole lot better, thanks to switching to Postum. And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, friends, you remember Lum discovered the other day that all the men in Pine Ridge have been having trouble with their wives. So he suggested that they all band themselves together in an organization against all women folk. As we're looking on the little community today, we find Abner and Grandpap Spears enthusiastically discussing the idea. Listen.
I'll tell you another one you can put down there, Abner. No back talk.
Well, we got that covered right up here in this one, Grandpap. No arguing. Your husband is all is right.
Yeah, but it wouldn't hurt nothing to put it in there again, so they won't have no excuse.
Well, I'll put it down. Reckon we're making these things too strong, Grandpap.
Too strong?
Yeah, I'm afraid we're going to have a little trouble getting them to sign this. Getting Lizabeth to sign a paper saying she won't do no more back talking, just like cutting off her breath.
Oh, they ain't going to want to sign it, no. But that's what we're organized for, is to force them into it.
Yeah.
And while we're putting this stuff down, we want to be sure and get it all in there.
Yeah, well, it's all right with me if they'll do it. I'll put it right down there now. I know that will be fine, you know what? Be able to go home without having to face an argument. Wife starts to bawl you out about something, I just tell her to hush up or you're going to report her to the association.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all right. Oh, it's the finest idea I ever heard of, Abner.
Yeah.
I don't see why the men folks everywhere don't do the same thing.
Well, I do. I just hope we can get every fella in town to go in with us on this thing. We've got to have 100% or it won't work.
Well, everybody I've talked to has been for it.
Yeah?
Caleb Leon said this morning he'd guarantee to put the deal over at his house.
Well, yeah, natural, a big fella like him could put it over. That woman of his is a little bitty thing. She ain't bigger than a minute.
Well, that don't always count, though, Abner. I saw some little ones that were just tough as a boot.
Yeah.
You take that store one day and whale the daylights out of him. And old Satchel stood there and take me, too.
Oh, yeah, he was scared to death of her. I know one time. Wait a minute, here comes Lum out there.
Oh. Have you talked to him yet, Abner?
No, I got to thinking about it, Grandpap. I don't believe he's eligible to belong. He ain't married.
Well, that don't make no difference. Let him in. We need all we can get. Make the parade longer if we have to march.
March?
Yeah, parade packing them unfair signs and all that stuff.
Oh, we gonna do that?
Of course we will, if we have to strike. Yeah, we're going to give them a chance to sign, but if they don't, well, we just force them into it.
Who's that Lum's talking to out there?
Oh, that's that new fella here in town. Mr. Brooks, you know.
Oh, yeah. He's the one that's got that pretty daughter that Lum's been sparking at.
Well, maybe Lum won't want to join the association if he gets struck on her.
Oh, well, I think we can talk him into it. He was the one that suggested it here the other day.
Yeah, I know, but that was when he was down on all women folks on account of the way the widow Beaumont done him.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Here he comes in.
Yeah, I'll talk to him about it.
Yeah. Where in the world have you been, Lum?
I'm just over to the barber shop. Why?
Well, I just wondered. You gone so long.
Oh, well, we got to arguing down there. Moe's Moots and Squire Skin was at it again.
Well?
How are you today, Grandpap? Oh, first rate, I reckon, Lum.
What was Moe and Squire arguing about?
Oh, about joining this new Men's Protective Association they're getting up around here.
Oh.
Moe's don't much want to join it.
Well, I'll be dead blamed. Why, he's the worst hand-picked fella in town.
Well, that ain't going to help him none, joining that thing.
Well, me and Grandpap's getting in it. That's what we've been doing, sitting here doping out a bunch of rules.
Rules?
Yeah, we're the committee, me and him. Rules and bylaw committee.
Yeah, show them to him there, Abner. See if he can think anything else we can add to it.
I don't know. You don't talk much like you're first, Lum.
Oh, it don't make no difference to me. Sort of depends on what you're demanding of them.
Yeah, well, we tried to think of everything we could. Let's see, on account of the shameful way some of the men folks of Pine Ridge has been treated by their wives, we, the undersigned, pledge ourselves to stand together and see that the following rules is upheld.
What's the rule?
Well, first, members of the Men's Protective Association can go out to lodge meeting or any other kind of a meeting of a night without getting their wives' permission.
You're going to have trouble there.
Well, if a fella gets his wife to sign it, why, she's got to stand by it long.
Well, supposing she does sign and then refuse to let her husband go out, what are you going to do about it?
Well, he can report it to the association.
Yeah, but what can they do about it?
You mean, what can they do, Grandpap?
Well, the association will decide what to do with her.
Yeah.
Or to take her out and give her a horse whipping, but I don't know what they'll decide to do.
No, yeah.
Craziest idea I ever heard of in my life. What's some more of your rules?
Let's see. Members don't have to help their woman with the dishes. Put that in there for Ezra Seastrom's benefit. You know how he has to do all the time.
Go ahead.
After supper, the wife will be expected to bring her man's slippers and pipe into the sitting room where he can sit as long as he wants to in front of the fireplace undisturbed.
This is the way you fellas wish things was, huh?
And we're going to have them, too.
Read some more there, Abner.
Well, number 4, no arguing. The husband is always right.
And we got no back talk down there, too.
Yeah, that's later down here. Number 5, the man has full charge of the money and don't have to take in the wife's relates less than he wants to.
All this will be fine if you can get the women folks to agree to it. You think Lizabeth will sign that, Abner?
Well, I thought I'd wait till most of the rest of them signed it, and I'd have a better argument.
But once she signs it, there ain't no backing out of it.
Oh, no.
Well, I'm just feared it's going to stir up about your trouble here. Half these men around town here won't be able to go home of a night. We ought to do a big business over there at the tourist camp, Abner.
Well, now, you just wait and see. Douglas, if it'll work, it's the greatest thing I ever heard of.
Well, there's a few of us having to put up with being run over day after day, and we can't do nothing about it.
No.
But if we got an organization behind us, we can stand up for our rights.
Yes, sir. I thought you was the one that suggested, Lum, that the men folks of Pine Ridge organize themselves against the women.
Well, I was mad when I said that.
That's before you met that Brooks girl.
Now, just keep her name out of this, Abner.
You ain't getting struck on her, are you?
I don't know. She's awful pretty.
For the land sakes.
I taken them groceries over there the other day, and her and me got to talking. She wanted to know what in the world a person does in this little town for music.
Wait a minute. That's our ring, I believe. What'd you tell her?
Go ahead and answer the phone.
Hello? Jot 'em down,
He's
store.
sort of counting on you to chime in with us, Lum. No, sir, not me, Grandpap.
Oh, hello, honey.
Got no reason to chime.
Tonight, you mean? Oh, well, I can't tonight, Lizabeth. I got to go to a meeting. Well, I can't tell you, honey. It's a secret, I told you. I can't, huh? But hold the phone just a minute. Elizabeth says I can't go to the meeting, Grandpap.
Well, tell her you got to. You're on a committee.
Oh, no, I don't want to tell her. I don't want her to know anything that I had anything to do with making up these rules.
Well, just put your foot down. Now's a good time for us to start out. Just let her know we mean business. Tell her you're going anyway.
Well, tell her what now?
Just tell her you're going to that meeting tonight, and her and nobody else ain't going to stop you.
Oh, I don't much believe I ought to go that strong, Grandpap. Maybe she'll change her mind and let me go anyway after I get her.
No, sir, just have it out right now. Tell her you're the master of that house, and from now on you'll go and come whenever you please. Yeah, if you're going to have this association, you might as well try it out right now, Abner.
I had, huh?
You go ahead and tell her.
Well, hello? I'm the master of that house, Lizabeth, and I'll come and go whenever I want to. I'm going to that meeting tonight, and you or nobody else ain't going to stop me. Whew. Yeah, that was me said that. Why? Oh, hello? Hello? Elizabeth? Oh, my goodness, what have I did? Come on, Grandpap, let's get out of here. She's on her way down here. Give me the keys to them tourist cabins, Lum. And don't tell nobody where I'm at, but if you want me, I'm in the third one from this end.
Well, it looks as though that protective association is the very thing Abner needs right now. The makers of Postum, the favorite mealtime drink in millions of American homes, present those two lovable old characters from the hill country, Lum and Abner. A noisy streetcar or truck passing by may not only make you jump, but it certainly doesn't help your disposition. And that's especially true if you're a victim of coffee nerves, if you're so jittery that even slight noises irritate you. And suffering with coffee nerves is no fun. And mind you, while many people can drink coffee and not be affected by it, you may be a perfect example of the many others who cannot. Well, if you are, if you think you shouldn't drink coffee, switch to Postum. For there's no caffeine or any other stimulant in Postum that could possibly make you nervous. Enjoy Postum's cheering, full-bodied flavor, a distinctive flavor that millions of families enjoy. So if coffee is setting your nerves on edge, drink Postum instead. And after 2 weeks, long enough to give Postum a fair trial, see if your nerves aren't steadier. See if you aren't glad you switched to Postum. And friends, before taking you to Pine Ridge, we want to tell you to be sure and listen later on for an important announcement about a special offer that will be made only tonight. And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, friends, you know the married men of Pine Ridge have organized a men's protective association to defend them against the unreasonable demands their wives make of them. The other night, Abner tested the strength of the new club by telling his wife, Lizabeth, that he is master of their house. As we look in on the little community today, Abner is now living alone in one of his and Lum's tourist cabins. We find him over at the Jot 'em Down store discussing the association with Grandpap Spears. Listen.
You better go over there and patch it up with her before it's too late.
You mean... Oh, I couldn't, Lum. I wouldn't go over there by myself for love nor money. No, sir, I just couldn't do it, Lum.
Well, what about this Men's Protective Association? I thought they were supposed to protect the members.
Well, Lizabeth ain't signed up for it.
Have you tried to get her to sign it?
Oh, no, I won't take it over there. And Well, I can't get nobody else to.
Well, you got to go home sometime, Abner. You can't stay over there at that tourist camp for the rest of your life.
Well, I can stay over there till she gets over her mad spell.
Swan to goodness.
Well, it's your fault. You and Grandpap were the one that put me up to sassing her.
Now, wait a minute. Wait just a minute. Don't try to lay that on to me. You and Grandpap were sitting here talking about joining this protection association, and she said you couldn't go to the meeting that night, and I just said that was a good chance to try it out.
Yeah, but who was it put me up to saying that I was a master of my house, and that I was going to the meeting anyway, and her and nobody else couldn't stop me? Now, that's where I made my mistake.
Well, that's one of the rules, ain't it? Every man that joins declares that he's the master of his house, and he can go and come when he pleases.
Yeah, that's what they say. But I tell you, Lum, Lizabeth ain't signed it yet, though.
No, and I told you wouldn't get the women around here to sign no such foolishness as that. No way. All them rules you made up.
Well, some of them's done signed up.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who, for instance?
Well, Sheila Weehunt's woman, and Squire Skimp's wife, Ezra Seastrong, Luke Spears.
Well, which one of them signs, the man or the woman, a husband or the wife?
They both do. The man can't join a protective association unless his wife signs up agreeing to go by the rules.
And if she does, then what?
Well, I don't know. That's as far into it as I've got. See, me and Grandpap was a committee to get up the rules, but I never went to the meeting the other night.
Well, whereabouts did you go? You never went home.
Well, I decided I better stay in Kiver after doing all that talking to Lizabeth.
Wait, there comes Squire Skimp up out there now.
Huh? Oh.
You say he got his wife to sign up?
Yeah, that's what he said yesterday. She was the first to sign. That's the reason they elected Squire president.
Squire Skimp's the president?
Yeah, only they don't call it president, defender or something like that.
For goodness sake.
Yeah, howdy, Squire.
Come in, Mr. Defender.
Well, gentlemen, how are you today, Brother Abner?
Oh, brother.
I'm referring to the Brotherhood of our Men's Protective Association.
Oh, well, I don't know where I'm a brother or not, Squire. Lizabeth ain't signed up yet.
Well, now, you want to attend to that right away, Abner. This organization of ours is going to spread like wildfire, men. We're already thinking of organizing chapters all over the country.
Working out all right, is it, Squire?
Why, the greatest blessing that's come to the men of this country since the signing of the Declaration of Independence, Lum. In fact, that's just about what this amounts to. Man's independence. Enables man to cast off the yoke of oppression, to lift his head that's been bowed all these years under the weight of unreasonable demands of womanhood.
It sounded like a speech you're giving out with there, Squire.
Well, to be frank, it is a little excerpt from a discourse I had with the boys the other night. It's a subject that I could discuss all day. Why, if this deplorable condition we men have allowed ourselves to become subjected to were to continue, in a few generations, the male of our species would have become weaker and finally extinct because of the domination of woman.
Doggy, Squire, you can sure use them big words.
Yeah, go ahead, Squire. This is interesting.
Well, I have nothing more to say, Lum. I'm inspired in what we're trying to do, not from any selfish motives, but for the protection of all mankind. Lest we awaken too late to find that our locks have been shorn, as Samson's were shorn by that female tonsorial artist, Delilah, of long ago. My contention is that we've been taking trimmings ever since.
Yeah, that's right.
But alas, the day has arisen where we can be freed from the bonds of marital slavery, the Men's Protective Association. Not one of us had the courage to free those bonds alone. But, as one of our patriots once said, in union there is strength. United we stand, divided we fall.
Granny, Squire, you have me in the notion of joining that thing, and I ain't even married.
Well, I wish I could join.
Yeah, you need something like that, Abner.
Well, now, there's no reason why you can't, Abner.
Well, me, Squire, I never could get Lizabeth to sign that thing.
He's afraid to suggest it to her, Squire. In fact, he's even afraid to go home.
What's that? Afraid to go home.
I've been downtown here for 2 days now, living over there at the tourist camp.
Well, now, that's where the organization can help you, Abner. Now, if you really want to be affiliated with the organization, we'll help you. We need you. We need every married man in this town. We have enough members now that we can march over to your house in a body and demand that Mrs. Peabody give you your freedom, your constitutional rights, the thing that our illustrious forefathers fought and died for, man's freedom of mind and speech.
March over there in a body.
Yes, we'll have a torchlight parade tonight. That's what we'll do. March over to your house. Call Mrs. Peabody out on the porch, read her the rules of our organization, and demand that she abide by them.
Well, that sure would be fine if you fellas will do that for me, Squire. I'd sure appreciate it. I'd just love to see her when they lay the law down to her.
Yeah, I would too. There's going to be a cyclone over there, I'll tell you that.
I'm a good mind to climb that big tree out there in the yard and watch it.
Tree nothing? Why, you're going to be right there with us, Abner. You'll head the parade.
No, wait a minute now. I better stay out of this, Squire. No, you fellas go on over there, and I'll stay down there at the tourist camp or someplace, and then you can come back and tell me what you said.
No, now, wait a minute, Abner. You'll have to be with us.
Yeah, you ought to go over there with her, Abner. I think you ought to go along with her.
You just stay out of this, Lum. I'll handle it.
Well, now, Abner, don't worry. She can't do anything to you with all of us behind you.
Well, doggies. How far out in front do I have to stand, Squire?
Oh, just a few feet, Abner. You make the demands, read the rules to her, and then we'll all be there to back you up.
Well, you better tell them fellers behind me then to spread out and make a pass through there. Because she starts off of that porch after me. I don't want to run over nobody.
Well,
here's another one of your members coming in yonder.
Huh?
Your brothers.
Oh, yes. Yes, come in, Brother Spears. Come in.
Howdy, Grandpap.
Yeah, howdy, man. Howdy.
Did you get Charity to sign it? What's the matter? Where did you get that black eye?
Huh? Oh, I run into the corner of the door last night.
Oh, well, that's too bad. Doggy, that is one, too, ain't it?
Yes, that's the thing. Brother Spears, I want you to meet down to Lodge Hall tonight at 7 o'clock. The Men's Protective Association is going to perform their first assistance to a brother in distress.
Yeah.
Do what, Squire? Now,
where?
Again, I'm feared I jumped the track there.
Well, we're all going to march over at my place, Grandpap, and demand that Lizabeth sign up for them rules. And we're going to carry torches. I know if she don't sign it, we're going to set fire to the house. No, wait a minute here. That's part of my place. Better not do that.
Well, now, hold on a minute here, Squire. How long will it take to march over at Abner's place?
Oh, I don't know, Grandpap. Not long. Not over 30 minutes. She wouldn't dare oppose an organization of that size for long.
You don't think she will?
Why, no.
Well, I reckon you fellas could march over at my place then, too?
Over to your place?
Yeah. See, I tried to get Charity to sign it this morning, and, well, to be honest, man, I never got this black eye by running into no door.
Why, sure we'll march over there, Grandpap. We'll make them join. All right, doggies, give us liberty or give us death. We'll fight them to the last bit.
Well, if this protection association works, we think they've got something next.
The makers of Postum, the favorite mealtime drink in millions of American homes, present those two lovable old characters from the hill country, Lum and Abner. Most of you folks listening, I know, are not ones to advertise your troubles. But if you suffer from indigestion, well, what more glaring advertisement could there be for that fact than the sour, ill-tempered disposition an upset digestion is almost sure to give you? Maybe coffee nerves is to blame for your indigestion, for it's common knowledge that While many people can drink coffee without having their digestion upset, many others should never touch it. So, if you're one of those, if you think coffee spoils your digestion, be sensible and switch to Postum. For Postum can't possibly have any bad effect. It contains no caffeine or stimulant of any kind. And because of the distinctive, full-bodied flavor that's Postum's own, this grand mealtime drink has become the favorite in millions of American homes. And you can get Postum in any of your favorite restaurants and hotels when you dine out. So there's every reason, if coffee gives you indigestion, to start drinking Postum instead of coffee. Make the change right away, and after giving Postum a really fair trial, say for 2 weeks, see if your digestion and your disposition aren't much improved. Ask your grocer for Postum tomorrow. And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, friends, the Men's Protective Association, formed in Pine Ridge to defend the husbands against the unreasonable demands made by their wives, has given them so many new privileges that they now acclaim it a thorough success. The feminine population seems completely dominated. As we look in on the little community today, we find Abner over at the Jot 'em Down store talking to Lum, who has just entered. Listen.
Was there any mail, Lum?
No, nothing for the store.
Uh-huh. What you got there?
Oh, this is for me.
Uh-huh. Doggy, they must have had an awful lot to say from the size of that envelope.
I think it's a Valentine. And I think I know who it's from, too.
Who?
Well, I sent one to a certain person, and I reckon she sent me one, too.
Who? Maudie Brooks?
I ain't saying who.
Yeah, that's who it is, I bet you, Maudie.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Well, nothing. Except I still think you're wasting your time. You've been trying to spark at her ever since they moved to town. She ain't never give you no encouragement.
Oh, what do you want her to do? Throw her arms around my neck?
Well, I don't care what she does. But anybody with half sense that knows she don't care nothing about you. I seen you Sunday when you went over there and sat down by her and meeting, and she got up and scooted down to the far end of the bench, clean away from you.
She's just bashful, I think.
Yeah, she's any bashfuler than you are. Why, you never will get together then.
Oh, I don't know. She must care something about me to send me a Valentine.
What does it say?
I don't know. I ain't opened it yet.
Oh.
But I can tell her right now if she wants me to be her Valentine, I am. Or will be.
Well, what do they mean by that, Lum? Will you be my Valentine?
What do they mean by it?
Yeah. What is a Valentine, anyway?
Why, it's, Granny's, I never had stopped to think about that. I know the 14th of February is it every year.
Yeah.
Somebody you like real good, you're supposed to send them a Valentine present. Let them know you're thinking about them and all that stuff.
Uh-huh. Well, they always have pictures of hearts on them there, I've noticed.
Yeah, love's mixed up in there somewhere or other. I don't know just how it works. When I sent Maudie, it had a big red heart and R run through it, and then little lace looked like a doily all around it. Ain't pretty.
Well, what's that supposed to mean, that big red heart and that lace and all that?
Means you're in love with her. It's a good way of telling somebody without having to come right out flat-footed and saying it.
Yeah. Well, I don't see how somebody'd think you's in love with them because you sent them a picture of a heart with lace all around it and everything.
Well, it sort of means that Cupid's got you.
Cupid?
Would you know who Cupid is?
No, I reckon not. Who is it?
You saw pictures of him, ain't you?
Of him?
Well, yeah, a little baby that goes around with a bow and arrow in his hand.
Oh, him, yeah. Says 1940 on him. Him standing there by his grandpa.
No, that's the new year coming in. But he favors him right smart.
Does, huh?
This one's supposed to go around and shoot people in the heart and make them get in love.
Oh, they blame he's liable to kill somebody doing that.
He don't actually shoot you. Just call it that.
Oh.
Body falls in love, the saying is that Cupid shot him with a R.
But he never, huh?
Well, I don't know. I believe he shot me.
Huh?
I don't mind telling you that Maudie Brooks has got me to where I don't know where I'm afoot or horseback.
Well, if that's all that's worrying you, you're a foot, I'll tell you that.
No, say, she wasn't interested. She wouldn't be sending me no Valentine, that's the same.
Yeah, well, go ahead, open it up, Lum. Let's see what it looks like.
No, I'm going to wait till I get home to open it.
Get home?
Yeah. Get it all dirty down here.
Oh, you won't.
It's one of them pretty lace ones. I'm going to hang it right there on the setting room.
Well, you can put it right back in the envelope. It ain't going to get dirty. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at it.
All right.
See what she's got. Why, look at you. You're so Norris, you can't hardly get it open there.
I know. It's the first little thing she did to show me how much she cares for me. Oh, it's all folded up. I'll bet.
What's the matter?
Nothing.
Let's see it, Lum. Let's see it.
Oh, it's just one of them comical.
Now, hand it here. Let me see it. What does it say down there, that writing down there?
I don't know, and I don't care.
If he ain't a beaut, you reckon she means that you look like that?
Just forget about it. Bunch of foolishness.
Look at them ears and that mustache. My doggy, that's growed on there. Or stuck on. Looks like a real one.
Yeah.
Let's see what it says here, Lum. Mr. Romeo. Well, I wish I had a Valentine, a charming prince that was all mine.
Is that what that says on there?
Yeah, that's the way it starts out here.
Well, wait a minute. Maybe she ain't making fun of me after all. Sounds like she's sort of in love with me. Say she wishes she had a Valentine, huh?
A charming prince, it was all mine,
Yeah. Go ahead and read the rest of it.
You see, a man that would be good and true.
Bless her heart.
But I don't want no part of you.
Huh?
You think you are a ladies' man, but no gal could love you with that pan. Your face looks like a plate of hash with that handlebar mustache. So I'm still looking for a man divine, but you're just a comic Valentine.
Now, what's her dad blame funny about that?
Well, that's a funny way she's got to tell you she loves you.
Give me that thing.
Now, wait a minute. Now, don't tear it up, Lum. I want to show that to Grandpap.
If you mention this to Soul Abner Peabody, I'll whop you right on top of the head. Got to where I can't even read my private mail around here without you telling it all over town.
Oh, swan to goodness, tearing it up. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. And I ain't told nothing to nobody, neither. Wouldn't go telling nothing on you. Your face looks like a plate of hash with that handlebar mustache. That's a gooder. I wish you hadn't tore that up. I'd love to have kept that thing.
Hey, Granny, that settles it. I'm a good mind to join that Men's Protective Association myself. I believe I could lawsuit her for sending such as that through the mail. Out-and-out slander's all it is.
Yeah, well, you can't join an association, Lum, unless you're married. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, I ain't going to get married to get into the thing. I'll guarantee you that.
But it's a good thing, though, if you was married. I'll tell you, we sure saved old Moe's Moot's life the other day. That woman of his would have beat him to death if we hadn't separated him. She did hit Luke Spears there once.
Granny, that reminds me, is Moe's in bad with the association?
In bad with them?
There's a sign down there on his window that says, "Don't trade here. This shop's boycotted by the Men's Protective Association."
Oh, that. No, I seen that down there. No, we're doing that to help Moe's out.
Help him out?
Yeah. See, that way, why, that's the way we gotta get even with this woman for breaking the rules the other day and jumping on him when she agreed not to. See, if Moe's don't do no business, why, she won't have no money to buy victuals with, and that way she don't get even with her.
Well, that's kind of hard on Moe's, ain't it?
Huh?
What does he say about it?
Oh, well, I don't think he much likes it, Moe's. He says it's just ruining his business.
Yeah, sure.
But he's got to go by what the association says.
Well, there ought to be some better way than that to punish her.
Yeah, well, might be. We did try to figure out something else. Wrecked her brains. Thought once of fining her $100 for it. And we have to think that Moe's would have to pay it if we did, just be out $100.
That's the only thing I see wrong with the organization. If women folks don't abide by the rules, I don't know what the association can do about it. They can't horsewhip them.
No. Well, there's a committee working on that now.
Wait, here comes your grand defender, or whatever it is you call him.
Oh, Squire. Maybe they found some way to punish these women when they bust a rule. There's been 2 or 3 uprisings in the last day or two.
Uprising?
Yeah, women folks busting the rules. Yeah, howdy, Brother Squire.
Yeah, come in, Squire.
Brother Abner, I'm calling a special meeting down to Lodge Hall right away. Want all the members of the Men's Protective Association to be there, too.
Yeah, well, wait a minute, Squire. I don't know where I can get away or not. Couldn't we have it tonight?
No, it's a matter of business that can't wait, Brother Abner. We've got to act and act quickly or our organization is ruined. I just found out a while ago that the women of the town are having a secret meeting this afternoon over at Mose Moose's house, and they're planning to organize a Woman's Protective Association here in town.
Uh-oh.
Now, unless we can put a stop to it, conditions in this town will be 10 times worse than they ever were before.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
We've got our backs to the wall, men. Our freedom hangs in the balance. If we don't put a stop to this movement, we're going right back into marital slavery. We've got to fight for our rights, men, and fight to the last day.
Well, it seems as though civil war is brewing in Pine Ridge. The makers of Postum, the favorite mealtime drink in millions of American homes, present those 2 lovable old characters from the hill country, Lum and Abner. You can always depend on it when someone makes this kind of confession.
Oh, I know. I knew I shouldn't be cross with the children.
That there's a reason for that cranky disposition. A reason that's often summed up like this.
But I can't help it. Sometimes everything gets on my nerves.
And that reason, friends, very often has this large grain of truth in it. That when others do get on your nerves, it actually may be that coffee nerves is your trouble. Coffee nerves may be making you what doctors call a nervous irritable. Because there's no question, while many people can drink coffee without getting tense and jittery, many others cannot. So if you think you have coffee nerves, switch to Postum. For there again, there's a reason why Postum can't set you on edge. It doesn't contain caffeine or stimulants of any kind. Postum is fragrant and full-bodied. You can enjoy the distinctive Postum flavor both at home or at your favorite hotel or restaurant. So start tomorrow. If coffee nerves has you in its grip, drink Postum instead of coffee. And even in a couple of weeks, see if you don't find there's a very good reason for saying,
My, I'm certainly glad I switched to Postum.
And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Friends, the Men's Protective Association of Pine Ridge has finally come upon a serious stumbling block. The wives of the village have formed a Women's Protective Association designed to defend them against the powerful demands of their husbands' organization. As we look in on the little community today, it's early morning. We find Abner over at the Jot 'em Down store. Lum is just entering. Listen.
Come in. Oh, come in, Lum.
Granny, I got something for us to Josh Ezra Seastrunk about, Abner.
Ezra Seastrunk.
Yeah, I come by his place just now and seen him sitting out there in the barn lot milking a cow.
Well,
Oh, Ezra, he's doing a woman's work. I hollered and asked him if he wanted me to get him an apron. What in the world are you doing?
eating breakfast.
For the land's sake, sardines and crackers for breakfast?
Well, I was hungry, and these about the only thing here in the store that was cooked.
Well, why'd you eat breakfast at home?
Lizabeth ain't cooking no more. Joined that Woman's Protective Association. They're out on strike.
Oh.
Ain't doing no housework of no kind. That's more than likely the reason that Ezra was milking that cow a while ago.
Yeah, I know the women had organized themselves, but I never knowed they was on a strike.
Oh, yeah. Ain't turning a hand. I went home last night, and Lizabeth was sitting there in front of the fire, all dressed up, rocking. I had to go out and feed the stock, and milk, and bring in the wood, and everything she's supposed to do.
Well, for goodness sake. I wish I could have saw you at that.
Well, it ain't no disgrace doing a woman's work now. Every man in town's doing the same thing.
Grannies, I know that woman's organization wasn't going to stand to be bossed around like that. Yeah, your Men's Protective Association is sort of backfiring on you, ain't it?
Backfiring?
Yeah. You ought to knowed women better than to think you can boss them around like that.
Yeah. But it was a good idea, if it worked.
Oh, something like that would have worked. They'd have had them protective associations years ago.
Yeah, it does look like it, yeah.
Well, what do you aim to do now?
I don't know, Lum. I just don't know. We got to do something, though. And quick, too.
Well, what are they demanding?
I don't know. They won't even talk about it. Lizabeth just sits there and rocks.
Well, ain't they made no demands on the Men's Protective Association?
Not that I know about, they ain't. First I know they was striking was when I went home last night.
Well, I do.
I walked in the house, and Lizabeth said her and Pearl had done it. If I wanted any supper, why, I'd have to go back there in the kitchen and cook it myself.
Well, of course, you could have went down to Luke Spear's restaurant.
Well, I did try it. There ain't no Luke Spear's restaurant. They're closed up. His woman's been doing the cooking. She's on strike, too.
Oh.
Yeah, Luke was out trying to rustle something to eat himself last night. Hand me that there bottle of pepper sauce there, Lum.
Well, Abner, you can't eat them cold sardines and crackers for breakfast.
I could eat anything as hungry as I am.
Well, we got some pork and beans.
I ate 2 cans of them for supper last night. Seen the restaurant was closed, so I come by the store here last night, opened up.
Wait a minute, yonder comes a couple of more of your brothers.
Huh?
Squire and Grandpap.
Oh. Dad blame that Squire Skimp. He's the one that started this whole thing, too.
Well, you ought to had more sense than to join it. I tried to talk you out of it. Wouldn't hurt that Squire to miss a few meals. Lose some of that paunch on him there.
Yeah. Come in, fellers.
Yeah, howdy. Good morning, gentlemen.
How's the Men's Protective Association, Squire?
Well, we're meeting with a little difficulty just now, Lum, but I think everything will adjust itself in time. What have you got there, Brother Abner?
Oh, just little sardines and crackers.
Hey, lay one of them on this cracker for me, Abner.
Get your hands out of there, Grandpap. Now, you just rustle your own victuals.
Tut now, Brother Abner. That's no way to talk to a member of the association. At a crisis like this, we must all stick together. Share and share alike. Hand me one of those crackers, Brother Spears.
Well, I'll be dad blame.
Ain't you fellers had no breakfast neither?
No. I left the house before breakfast this morning, Lum.
Ain't your woman cooking either, Squire?
Mrs. Skimp and I are not speaking, Brother Abner.
Yeah, me and Charity's speaking, but she just won't work.
Yeah, well, that's the way with me and Lizabeth. Now, what are we going to do, Squire? Be dad blame now if I'm going to put up with this much longer.
Well, I don't know, Brother Abner. Don't ask me.
Well, now, you got us into this mess. You're the one that wanted to organize.
Well, now, we're having a meeting this afternoon at 3 o'clock. A secret meeting at Walt Bates' sawmill. We'll have all the members present, and at that time we'll decide just what to do. But whatever our stand is, we've got to all stand together. It's the turning point of our organization. It's just developed into a battle of wits, gentlemen, that's what it is. If they win this little skirmish, it means that man has no defense against marital slavery. We've got to see it through. If this develops into a siege, why, we've just got to outwait them, that's all.
Well, I'm hungry, Squire.
Yeah, we get to trying to outwait them women folks. We're liable to starve to death around here.
Brother Abner, are you willing to sacrifice everything we've worked for this past week? Give up your independence just to satisfy that ungovernable appetite of yours?
No, well, not when you put it that way, I reckon.
Well, I don't care what they decide, just so's I eat. That's one thing I've always did, is eat good. Been at it so long now, I got to where I won't eat every day, too.
And what about the chores over at the place, too, Squire? I've got stock over there. It's got to be took care of. Can't stay down here and work all day and then go home and do the chores after dark.
Yeah, you ain't got nothing to do, Squire. No chores there at the house.
Well, now, gentlemen, this will all be decided this afternoon at the meeting. Whatever the majority decides to do, why, we must all abide by.
Well, personal, I hope they decide to give up the idea. I'd rather take a little abuse from my woman and eat regular.
Yeah, me too.
I'll get it, Abner.
Oh, starving to death.
Hello. Jot him down, store. Lum and Abner's doing the talking.
$1,000 I had it
Who?
for a hot biscuit, right?
Oh, yeah, he's here, Mose. Just a minute. It's for you, Squire. Mose moved it.
Yes, thank you, Lum, thank you. Hello, Brother Mose. What's that? Oh, well, I just wouldn't stand for it, that's all. Yes, but now there's nothing the organization can do in a case like that. Well, what are they doing having a meeting this early in the morning? Well, what do you want me to do, Brother Mose? Come over there and take care of your children myself? Now, wait, don't do anything hastily, brother. We're having a meeting this afternoon at 3 o'clock at Walt Bates' sawmill. Now, let's just wait and see what develops. You don't think you could get off at all, huh? Well, I'll call you and let you know what takes place. All right, goodbye.
What's the matter with Mose?
Oh, nothing. He won't be able to come to the meeting this afternoon.
Oh.
I'm afraid that wife of Mose is a little more than the organization can handle. Frankly, I wouldn't mind seeing Brother Mose drop out. No.
Oh, that woman ahead of the walk, Ed, I'll tell you that.
Well, thank goodness Charity ain't hard to get along with.
No.
Body can reason with her.
Yeah.
This idea of not cooking and doing up the chores, I think these other women folks has talked her into that.
Oh, yes, that was decided at the last meeting they had. They're having another one this morning.
Jot them down, store. Lum and Abner's talking.
There.
Oh, yes, just a minute. For you, Grandpap.
Me?
Yeah, it's your woman, I think.
Oh.
I bet she's changed her mind and got a good hot breakfast fixed for me. Bless her heart.
Oh, she's a fine woman, that woman is.
Hello, Charity.
Go over and eat with him, that's what I'll do.
Meeting? When? No use for me to do what? Why not? Well, where am I going to stay? Charity? Hello, Well, what do you know about that?
What's the matter, Brother Spears?
Well, the Women's Protective Association's had another meeting this morning and decided to lock the doors on us fellers till the Men's Protective Association's busted up.
Lock the door?
Now, when a feller gets locked out of his own house, it's time to do something and do it quick.
Well, it looks as though the Women's Protective Association has definitely won the first round. The makers of Postum, the favorite mealtime drink in millions of American homes, present those two lovable old characters from the hill country, Lum and Abner. In some families, when father comes home at night, it's a signal for this sort of reception.
Hey, Jackie, here comes Pop. Come on, let's get him to play a game with us.
But in other families, the father's homecoming often has this effect.
Hey, Jackie, Pop's coming. We better keep quiet, because he looks awful grouchy.
Now, you'd certainly hate to be that second father, wouldn't you? Yet, in all honesty, maybe there are times when you not only look grouchy and irritable, but actually behave that way toward your family. Perhaps it's because you don't sleep well at night. Something causes you to toss and turn on your pillow. And it may well be that that something is coffee nerves. For it's a fact that while many people can drink coffee without being kept awake, many others should leave it severely alone. So if you suspect coffee robs you of sleep, switch to a Postum. For there's no caffeine, no stimulant, nothing in Postum that could possibly keep you awake. The distinctive full-bodied Postum flavor, its cheering warmth and fragrance have made Postum the favorite mealtime drink in millions of families. And Postum's very economical, too. It actually costs less than 1/2 cent a cup. So if coffee prevents you from sleeping, drink Postum instead and see if the change isn't of benefit even in a few days. After a fair trial, say of 2 weeks, see if you aren't sleeping a whole lot better than before you switched to post them. And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, friends, it looks as though the Women's Protective Association, through a brilliant piece of strategy, may also win the second round of its battle with the Men's Protective Association of Pine Ridge. First, the wives stopped cooking and doing housework for their husbands. Now they've locked the doors and refuse to let their husbands even come home anymore. As we look in on the little community today, we find Lum and Abner over at the Jot 'em Down store discussing the matter. Listen.
Well, personal, I don't care where you get the thing straightened out or not, Abner. As long as the women folks here in town won't let their husbands come home, it's helping our business down there at the tourist camp.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that thing's been packed. But I tell you, Lum, I'm getting awful tired of staying down there. I bet you I never slept a half hour last night. That Caleb Wehunt snoring.
Snoring, huh?
Yeah, no, me.
Caleb staying in the cabin with you?
Oh, yeah. There's 5 of us in there.
5 of you in one bed?
Oh, no. They got some pallets there on the floor and sleeping there that way. Some of them's enjoying it, I reckon. Sit up and play pitch half the night. But I sure ain't. I wish they'd get the thing settled. I tell you, I want to go home.
Well, you fellers is licked, I can tell you that right now. When I heard the women folks of the town had organized themselves, I knowed right then that you might as well just call the whole deal off.
Yeah, well, personal, I do too, Lum. And I think there's some of the others that like to give up the idea of that Men's Protective Association. Just forget the whole thing.
Well, why don't you just take out and withdraw from the organization? Go on home where you belong.
Well, I would, only some of the fellers says that I'll be a quitter if I do.
I wouldn't care what they said. If I wanted to go home, I'd go home.
You would, huh?
Well, sure. You can't sleep around in tourist camps and eat canned goods every day. Fellas got to have some hot victuals.
Yeah, well, they're going to open up the restaurant today. Luke Spears has got a cook from the county seat coming out. Went in there Saturday and hired a Chinese ones.
Well, all the men in town can't eat down there in that one little restaurant.
No. Well, I don't know how it's all going to turn out. I tell you, it's got me worried to death.
Well, I can tell you how it's going to turn out. The women is going to win. You fellas is just butting your head against a wall.
Well, Squire Skimp says that they'll give up if we'll just wait long enough. He says they'll be begging us to come home.
Why, you men are the ones that's going through the hardships. The women is all at home. Got a nice, comfortable house. Hot-cooked meals.
Yeah, that's right, ain't it? Dad, blame it.
Oh, they can hold your feet to the fire. You'll have to give up.
Hold our feet to the fire.
Why, sure, they've got the advantage of you.
Well, are they threatening to do that now?
Well, they can.
Lord me, doggies, now that's carrying things too far. Well, they're liable to cripple somebody for life. But I just don't believe Lizabeth can hold my feet to the fire by herself, Lum. She ain't stout enough.
Well, a whole bunch of them could. They're organized. They're going to stick together.
Yeah, I might as well just give up right now, then, for that's something I just can't stand. I know I dropped off to sleep down there at the barber shop one day, and they give me a hot foot. Put a hunk of shoe polish on my shoe and set it on fire. Doggies, if I hadn't run into old Grandpa Masters and knocked us both down, I believe I'd have been running yet. I just can't stand for my feet to be burned.
Well, I don't mean they're actually going to hold your feet up against a fire.
Well, holding the fire up against your feet, then. I don't care how they do it. I just can't stand it long.
Well, they ain't going to burn your feet.
Well, they will if they get that fire too close. They're liable to get excited and not know what they're doing.
I told you there ain't going to be no fire.
Oh. How they going to do it? With a hot iron?
No, of course not.
Acid?
They ain't going to burn your feet at all.
Well, what did you say they was for then?
I said they's going to hold your feet to the fire. I never said they's going to burn them.
And I'm telling you, if they do, they'll burn mine. My feet's is awful tender, Lum. I just can't stand it. Well, I'll sit right here in this chair and mightn't I give myself a hot foot just by putting my feet up on a railing around that stove there. Had to run myself down nearly.
Yeah, but what
I come in here one day with my shoes wet and propped them up there to dry them out, left my feet in them, and I just might not...
You grab that bucket of drinking water there and jump right in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah. When my feet gets to burning, I've got to have water. Yes, sir, got to have it. Just ain't got a lick of sense. I actually believe I'd jump right in a well. I've just got to have water.
You're just getting yourself all worked up over nothing, Abner.
Nothing? Why, that's the way they torment fellers in books, Lum. Find out where the money's buried and all that sort of
If you
stuff.
shut up a minute, I'll explain to you what I mean.
You don't have to explain it to you. I told you I've had my feet burnt before, and I'm telling you I ain't
for goodness sakes, hash up about your feet.
I won't hash up about 'em, no such a thing. They're my feet. I can talk about 'em if I want to,
All
Lum
right,
Abner.
talk about 'em. I don't care.
Well, I can just stand as much pain and suffering as the next feller till it comes to my feet. I tell you, that's something I just can't stand on.
To goodness.
Where are you going?
I'm getting out of here till you get that subject off your mind.
Huh?
You can get a idea like that in your head, and nobody can straighten you out on it.
Oh, well, come on back, Lum. I won't talk about it no more. I never know.
Here comes Grandpappy Spears. Talk to him about it.
Oh.
I'm going over to the tourist camp and see if I can't collect from some of them fellers who've been sleeping over there. I'll be back after a while.
All right.
Howdy, Grandpap.
Don't know my
Howdy,
feet.
Lum. Whereabouts is Abner? He's sitting back there by the stove.
Oh. Come on back, Grandpap.
Yeah, howdy, Abner.
How are you this morning?
Oh, just only tolerable. Tell you, this ruckus we're having with the women folks has just got me so tore up I just ain't at myself.
Oh, me
hardly.
neither. Me neither, Grandpap. I'm just as nervous and jumpy as a rabbit's nose right now.
I hear this morning they had a meeting and decided to picket the town now. March up and down the street carrying a bunch of signs, one thing and another.
Oh, well, Lord me, you ain't heard nothing, Grandpap. You ain't heard nothing. Just now let it slip that they're going to torture us.
Torture us?
Yeah. Going to take us one at a time and stick our feet in the fire till we say that we're going to withdraw and break up our Men's Protective Association.
Oh, my goodness. Well, they can't do that.
Look, that Grandpap, that whole bunch of women jump on a feller at once, why, he wouldn't have a chance with them. I tell you now, we got to do something. I just stood just about all I can of it.
Well, what are we going to do, Abner? Squire says a feller that withdraws from the organization will be boycotted by every man in this town.
Well, I'd a heap rather be boycotted than to have both my feet burn off, I'll tell you that right now. I don't care what you or anybody else says, Grandpap. I'm going to withdraw from the organization.
You can't do that, Abner.
I'm going to anyway.
Be taking an oath, don't you recollect?
Well, oath or nothing. I'm going to keep my feet in good shape, I'll tell you that. I'm going to call Lizabeth right now and give up, too. Tell her she wins and I want to come home. That's where I want to go.
Well, now, you're going to make a lot of fellers mad at you, Abner. You won't have a friend left in this town.
No, but I'll have 2 good feet. I'll tell you that right now. That's worth more than friends.
And I don't believe Charity'd stand for me to do that to me. Why, they're liable to cripple a feller for life that way.
That's what I've been trying to tell you. It's dangerous, Grandpap. It's, hello? Pearl? Is your mama there? Tell her I'd like to speak to her. All right, honey. Bless her heart. Grandpap, that crazy Mose Moots' woman is at the head of that organization. You know, she ain't got a lick of sense in her head.
Yeah, I know she's pretty bad.
And she can talk the rest of them into anything. They get nervous, excited, get over there and get to talking. They'll agree to do anything to us.
Mob violence, what she call it.
Yeah, something. And Moses' woman tickled her to death to burn on Moses' feet, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, hurry up with the phone there. Dad blaming, I better call Charity and tell her I'm coming home, too. Tell her I withdrawed.
Yeah, well,
tell her she wins.
Well, that's the thing to do. Hello? Lizabeth? Oh. Said what, honey? Oh, well, tell her I've just got to talk to her, Pearl. It's a life and death matter. Yeah, hurry up, honey. Tell her to get to the phone in a hurry. Yeah, see there, Grandpap? Lizabeth won't even talk to me. I'll tell you, when she won't talk, Grandpap, she's dangerous. I've saw her freeze up before. Wait a minute, where are you going, Grandpap?
I can't wait for that telephone, Abner. I'm going over there and withdraw right now.
Well, as usual, it looks like a complete victory for the Women's Protective Association.
The makers of Postum, the favorite mealtime drink in millions of American homes, present those 2 lovable old characters from the hill country, Lum and Abner. Before we visit Pine Ridge and find out what's happening to Lum and Abner, I want you to know what happened to another very good friend of mine. Up until 2 months ago, he never knew what it was to miss a night's sleep. He'd even boast about it, said he could turn off the light and be sound asleep before the room got dark. But one night he didn't drop off so easily. He found himself lying in bed, staring wide awake at the darkness, tossing and turning and counting sheep, doing all the things people do trying to make sleep come. And that went on, night after night. What had happened to that man? What had changed him from a person who could fall asleep during a thunderstorm to a tossing, turning, restless, wide-eyed insomniac? It was nerves. Coffee nerves. Nervous indigestion, or nervous exhaustion, or you're irritable, and you think coffee nerves may be responsible, or partly responsible, by all means switch to Postum. Postum cannot make you nervous, cannot keep you awake. It contains no caffeine or stimulant of any kind. So enjoy cheering, full-bodied Postum steaming in the cup. Drink it at meals instead of coffee. And then, in just 2 weeks, see if your nerves aren't steadier. See if you aren't sleeping soundly again. See if you don't thank the day you switched to Postum. And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Friends, you know the women of Pine Ridge have destroyed the purpose of the Men's Protective Association by locking their husbands out of their houses. And this morning, the two associations are having a joint mass meeting in an attempt to reach some sort of compromise. As we look in on the little community today, we find Lum and Cedric over at the Jot 'em Down store discussing the matter. Listen.
Yonder he comes. I reckon the meeting's over.
Mom?
Abner coming up out there. I say I reckon the mass meeting of the Men and Women's Protective Association's over.
Oh, yes, Mom. How come them having a meeting this time of day, Mr. Lum?
Well, these men around here decided to give up their Men's Protective Association and go home, and I granted their wives wouldn't let them do it. So they had a joint meeting of the two organizations to see if they couldn't come to some sort of an agreement.
Yes, Mom.
Granny, I'm glad me and you wasn't mixed up in this thing, Cedric. Had the whole town tore up.
Yes, Mom, it sure has. Be glad to get Paul back home where he can help me do the chores. He's been having to stay down there at the tourist camp.
Yeah, well, I imagine they'll all be home tonight. I know good and well the women folks got whatever they was asking for. I told these men around here all along they never had a chance. Is the meeting over, Abner?
Yeah, all over. Everything's settled. Going home tonight.
Well, that's fine. Glad to see you settled. Well, good.
We had to agree to an awful lot of stuff, but I'd have did anything to get to go home.
Oh, yeah. Well, you fellers will know better than to try to organize something like that again.
Yeah.
Women folks is going to run the household. You just may as well make up your minds to that.
Yeah, it was a mistake. Ain't no doubt about it. They had us dead for rights.
Was there much arguing going on down there, Mr. Abner?
No. They just told us what we'd have to do, and we all agreed to it.
I thought you might end up in a gang fight or something.
No. Mose Mooch's woman, the president of the organization, got up and made a little talk. Said they're going to keep this woman's organization.
Keep it?
Yep. Think it's a fine thing for the town.
Well, that might be.
They're demanding equal rights to the men. They run us all out, and they're having a meeting now to figure out how they can improve the town.
Well, that's all right. Organization like that, working for the improvement of the town, might be just what we're needing around here.
Yeah, might be.
Now, Granny, as mayor of Pine Ridge, I'll work with them, too. Wished I'd have been there, I'd have told them that.
Yeah, well, they'll more likely be calling on you. I dog it, I'm sure glad it's all over, man, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, the Men's Protective Association's a thing of the past now, huh?
Yeah, we agreed to unorganize and back up this Woman's Protective Association in anything they start out to do.
You did?
Yeah, Squire Skimp was against it, but we voted him down on it.
Yeah, Squire just don't know when he's whipped, that's all.
No, awful stubborn.
Well, I expect I better get back over to the blacksmith shop if that meeting's over. Paul come over there and find me gone, he'll about take them pinchers to me again.
Pinchers?
There's some them pinchers he holds the horseshoes with when he douses them in that tub of water there.
Oh.
Grabbed me by the ear yesterday with a pair of them things and led me all over the blacksmith shop.
Well, I do dog. I'd left us all there.
Well, come back again, Cedric.
Yeah.
Yes, Mom, I will.
Caleb sure has got his bluff in on Cedric, ain't he?
Yeah, but he thinks the world and all of the boys.
Well, he's got an awful funny way of showing it. Told him the other day if he never stayed in that blacksmith shop better that he's going to put a ring in his nose and tie an anvil on the end of it.
Well, he was just joshing him.
Well, I don't know. He hobbled him last summer. Welded a chain on both legs to keep him from going fishing.
Yeah, that was just for one day. Never hurt him none.
Doggy, he'd nail a pair of horseshoes on him if the notion ever struck him.
I thought I might go out tomorrow and try my luck fishing.
Fishing?
Yeah, Suit Abernathy said he caught a 14-pound catfish out of the river yesterday.
Well, what about the store here? You expecting me to stay here and run it by myself?
Tomorrow's a holiday.
Holiday?
George Washington's birthday, 22nd of February.
Hi, doggy, that's right, ain't it?
Yeah. I ought to send something to Maudie, too, I reckon.
Maudie?
Maudie Brooks.
It ain't her birthday, too, is it?
No, but it's nice to send a little present of some kind on special occasions like that.
Oh.
Let them know who you're thinking about.
Uh-huh.
They got some little Washington birthday pretties out, you know. Hatchets and little cherry trees and one thing or another.
Hatchets?
Yeah.
Doggy, I wouldn't want to send Lizabeth no hatchet. She can't throw a chopping axe, but I wouldn't want to trust her with a hatchet and her mad, I'll tell you that.
Well, they're just little paper hatchets, for goodness sake.
Well, she can't chop nothing with a paper hatchet long.
She ain't supposed to chop nothing with it. Just a sort of a trademark of George Washington's. Hatchets and cherry trees.
Well?
It's on account of him always telling the truth, you know.
Hatchets and cherry trees?
Well, he cut down a cherry tree with a hatchet when he was just a kid of a boy, and that made him famous.
Well, I can do that, I'll bet you.
Well, yeah, but he told off on himself. Admitted to it. His papa come out there and seen the tree was cut down and said, "Who's been cutting down my cherry tree?" And the mama bear said, "No, wait a minute, that's another story."
Huh?
That's the story about the three little bears. Who's been eating my porridge? Who's been sitting in my chair? Who's been sleeping in my bed?
Well, don't be looking at me. I never done it.
That's the way the story goes.
Oh. Well, that's a new one on me.
You ain't never heard the story about the three bears?
No. Tell it.
Oh, forget just how it went. A little girl named Goldenlocks wandered out in the woods one day and met a wolf. No, wait a minute. That was Little Red Riding Hood.
Who?
It's another story. Anyway, she come to a little cabin, and she's getting awful hungry. Oh, wait a minute here. What's the matter with me, anyway? I ain't going to tell it.
Why not?
I just ain't, that's all.
Ain't it nice?
It's nice enough, all right, but I just...
Well, tell it then.
I ain't going to sit here and tell you no bedtime stories. Older fellers you are.
I won't go to sleep.
Them stories is for children.
Oh. Well, that and about George Washington's ain't for children, for I already know that and about him cutting down that cherry tree.
He done a heap more than that. He was the first president of the United States, the father of our country.
Huh?
Don't you know? First in war, first in peace, and first in the hearts of our countrymen.
My doggy, he's in the money every time he run, wasn't he?
And he writ the Declaration of Independence and throwed a silver dollar across the Potomac River.
Well, what'd he do that for?
Just to see if he could, I reckon.
Well, did he go get it?
I don't know. Story never said. I reckon he did, though.
Well, if he never, he's awful careless with his money, I'll say that. I doggies come to think about it, Lum. I seen a picture of him once crossing the river in a boat after it.
Where did you see any such pictures at?
That calendar the hardware company in there at the county seat sent us a couple of years ago.
That was a picture of Washington crossing the Delaware.
Did he throw one across there, too?
No, that was during the war. Don't you know, the picture showed all the soldiers sitting down and rowing and him standing up in a boat and ice all around them.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir, I've sat here and looked at that thing 1,000 times. It's a wonder he never dumped the whole passel of them out in the river. Standing up in a rowboat. That's dangerous
Wait a minute, that was our ring. I'll get it.
Get wet that way someday, I'll tell you.
Hello? Jot 'em down, Stowell. I'm Eddard Stoughton.
Said they dumped me last summer.
Oh, howdy, Squire. Why, what's the matter?
Yeah, Abner told me the ladies was having a meeting over there. They voted to do what? Well, they can't do that. Well, you fellas had no business agreeing to no such thing. Well, grannies, I won't stand for it. I ain't going to resign from that office for nobody.
What's the matter, Lum?
Just a minute, Squire. You and your dad blame Protective Association. You've got things in a fine mess now.
Huh?
You fellas agreed to do anything the women decided, and now they voted to ask every one of the city officials to resign from their office and put a woman in his place.
Woman?
Going to have a woman mayor, a woman chief of police, and everything else. Grannies, I won't give up the office. I'll fight them to the last.
Well, it looks like Lum will have to fight the Women's Protective Association by himself. The makers of Postum, the favorite mealtime drink in millions of American homes, present those two lovable old characters from the hill country, Lum and Abner. You know, you'd think that a person who just had the pleasure of eating a good, appetizing meal would get up from the table in good spirits. But unfortunately, it doesn't always work that way. For no matter how much you've enjoyed your meal, you're pretty sure to fall into low spirits, get crabby and cranky, if when you're finished you get indigestion. And one of the big causes of indigestion is coffee nerves. Though it's true that many people can drink coffee without feeling upset, many others cannot. So if you think coffee upsets your digestion, switch to Postum, because Postum contains no caffeine or any other stimulant. It can't possibly give you indigestion. You know, Postum's a cheering, fragrant mealtime drink. It has a full-bodied flavor all its own, a distinctive flavor that millions of families enjoy. So if you suffer from indigestion due to drinking coffee, give up coffee and drink Postum instead. See if you don't feel better even in a few days. And after a reasonable time, after drinking Postum instead of coffee, say for 2 weeks, see if there isn't an improvement in your digestion that's really something to be delighted with. Drink Postum. There's a reason. And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, friends, the Men's Protective Association of Pine Ridge has certainly backfired with a bang since the women of Pine Ridge formed their own association. Last Wednesday, if you remember, the men who had been locked from their houses asked for some sort of compromise so they could return home. And the women agreed they could return home, of course, providing all the officers of the civic government, that is, the civic government in Pine Ridge, resign, so that the women themselves can run the affairs of the little village. As we look in on the little community today, we find Squire Skimp over at the Jot 'em Down store discussing the matter with Lum. But first, ladies and gentlemen, we bring you a short organ interlude of our theme, Eleanor. And now that we find connection restored at Pine Ridge, we take you to the little community and find the Squire, the Jot 'em Down store, as we said, discussing the matter of the women's new rules with Lum. Listen.
No, Squire, I don't want to have a thing to do with it. I've done resigned from the office.
Lum, we can't have a woman mayor of this town.
You got to get somebody else to run then, Squire. I ain't going to run against no woman, I know that. What if I get beat? I'd be ashamed to walk down the street.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, though, Lum. You won't get beat. Now, they've got 2 women running for the office. They'll split the votes to where you're bound to win.
Yeah, but who'll vote for me? You know, the women of the town is going to vote for one or the other of the women candidates. And all these men agreed to back up this Women's Protective Association in anything they started out to do.
Yes, but, Lum, this is ridiculous. Now, we had no idea that they were going to try to take over all the public offices at that time.
Well, we agreed to it anyway.
Well, I'll tell you, Lum. A lot of these men that agreed to do whatever the Women's Protective Association told them to will renege when it comes right down to it.
What do you mean?
Well, we have secret votes, don't we?
Yeah, but...
A lot of men will naturally tell their wives that they're going to support the woman's ticket. But when they cast their secret vote, why, they'll vote for you.
Granny's, now, wait a minute. I hadn't thought about that angle. Yeah, there might be something to that, all right.
Why, of course there is. Now, the two women splitting the women's vote, why, you'll slide in there before they know what's happened. That's where they made the mistake right there, was running two candidates.
Well, I said this morning I never wanted no part of that election.
Well, somebody's just got to save the town for us, Lum. If we let those women get control of this town, why, no telling what'll happen. It'll be a disgrace. A petticoat government, that's what it'll be. Why, we'll be publicized all over the United States.
Well, of course, you can't tell, Squire. They might run things all right. Never have had a chance to find out whether they could or not.
Well, that's not the idea, Lum. It shows a weakness on the part of the men here. Now, what would people say? Come in here and find out that the men never had enough backbone to stand up for their own rights.
Yeah, that part would look funny, all right.
And there's no telling what kind of ordinances they'd pass either. Probably make it against the law to smoke a pipe or a whittle. Might even pass a law that men would have to stay home and take care of the children while they run the businesses of the town.
Oh, they can't do that.
Why, sure they can. If they get control of the town, they can do anything. All they'd have to do would be just to pass ordinances to move us right out of the picture. Make it unlawful for a man to operate a business in Pine Ridge.
What would I do? I ain't got no children to stay home and take care of.
Yes, well, you'd more likely wind up a nursemaid or a cook in somebody's home, Lum.
Granny's, I won't do it. That's just carrying things too far.
Well, I'm only telling you what could happen.
Wait a minute. There comes Abner. See what he thinks about this. Why can't you get him to run? No, his woman wouldn't let him.
Yes, that's the trouble, Lum. You're the only eligible candidate whose wife isn't a member of the Protective Association.
Yeah, Granny's, I don't know what to do, hardly.
Well, howdy, fellas.
Come here a minute, Abner.
What's the matter?
Me and Squire was just talking here. He's wanting me to run for mayor again.
Well, you just resigned the office yesterday. If you'd wanted that bad, why didn't you keep it?
Well, I just thought it was the best thing to do. The women folks was demanding a new election, so I knowed eventually they was going to ask me to resign, so I just wanted to beat them to it.
Yes, somebody's got to save us, Abner.
Yeah, these women folks is getting awful uppity. That Lizabeth running over me something wonderful here the last 2 days. I dog it's one of these times she's going just a little too far, too, in her remarks. I'm going to snap back at her.
Well, just imagine what it'll be like if they get control of the town, Abner. Woman mayor, woman chief of police, woman council.
Yeah, and they're wanting me to be a nursemaid or a cook. Or a maid.
Why, yes, if they get control of the town, they might start running the businesses, too, Abner. Make the men stay home and do their work. Just trade places.
Yeah, all of us doing women's work.
I dog it, I won't do it. If I've got to cook and chop wood and do field work, I'll run off from home first. That's what I'll do.
Well, I'm merely pointing out what could happen, that's all.
Yeah, I don't see what you ever give up the office for in the first place, Lum.
Well, I never did stop to think what could take place till Squire come in here a minute ago and got to talking about it.
Well, you just got to run for the office and get that job back, Lum. You got to do it.
The trouble is, all the married men in town has agreed to support this woman's organization. Don't leave hardly nobody else to vote for me.
I told you a while ago, Lum, that these men cast a secret vote. They'll vote for you without the women knowing it.
Why, sure they will, Lum. I dog it, I'll vote for you.
Oh, who you going to get to run for the other offices, though, Squire, or chief of police, for instance?
Well, I don't have anybody in mind, Lum. I hadn't thought much about that, in fact. Probably have to be some single man that hasn't already obligated himself to this woman's organization, though.
There ain't many single men in town to pick from. In fact, me and Cedric Wheelan's about the only permanent single fellers here that's growed up.
Well, how about Cedric for chief of police?
Well, I don't know. Cedric wouldn't be a very strong candidate, Abner. We want to get the strongest ticket we can muster together. We've got to win this election.
I doubt we would get anybody else to run. Wise wouldn't let them.
I'd dog it out, Ron.
You mean that, Abner?
Well, Lizabeth wouldn't let you, Abner. She belongs to the woman's organization.
Well, what can't you do about it if I get elected? She couldn't be no madder at me than she is right now, no way. If I get to be chief of police, I can protect myself.
Well, I don't know a man in town that would have a better chance of being elected, Abner.
Yeah, who all we got to run against, Squire?
Oh, I don't know, Lum. They haven't gotten their ticket out yet. Somebody said that Mose Moot's wife was one of the candidates they's going to have for mayor, though.
If I can't beat her, I don't want the office no way.
Yeah, well, now here, man. I'll get busy and see who we can get to run for the alderman. That's what we need now.
Yeah, Granny, it'll be the woman's ticket again the men's ticket.
Yeah, we'll show 'em who's running this town.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the time, man. That's the spirit right there. I'll tell you, it's come to a pretty pass when the men have to stand aside and let the women take charge of the city government.
Well, we just won't do it.
Why, no. This is our last stand, men. We've got to win regardless of how we do it.
Well, you can count on me and Abner. We'll do anything you suggest.
Yes, well, that gives us a good start. Lum as mayor and you as chief of police, Abner. I don't believe they can beat you. Well, I've got to get out here then and get busy, man.
Yeah, all right, Squire. Let us know if there's anything we can do.
Yes, I will. Good day, gentlemen.
Good day.
And so long.
Here comes Cedric.
Oh, yeah. I hope Lizabeth don't get too mad when she finds out I'm running for chief of police.
Oh, she won't care.
Well, hello, Cedric, my boy. Hello, Mr. Squire. Have a circular.
Yeah, what you got there, Cedric?
We're passing out hand circulars. Women candidates for office.
Oh.
Bring one of them back here, Cedric. I want to see who all's running.
I want to see who I got to beat there.
Here, passing them all over town.
Well, it's pretty green.
Notice, election to be held in Pine Ridge, March the 1st. The Women's Protective Association will appreciate your support. Honest and economical government.
Prattle, prattle.
Vote for the following. For Mayor, Melvie Moots.
Oh, that's Mose Mooch's woman, yeah.
And Mamie Seastrunk.
Every Seastrunk woman. I'd dog it if I was Ezra, I wouldn't let her on.
For Chief of Police, Lizabeth Peabody.
Hi, Granny, your woman's running for chief of police, Abner.
Oh, my goodness. And I told Squire I'd run for that office myself. What must I do, Lum? What must I do?
Well, friends, it seems as though the Civil War in Pine Ridge is still far from being settled.
The makers of Postum, the favorite mealtime drink in millions of American homes, present those two lovable old characters from the hill country, Lum and Abner.
That's right. Go upstairs. Slam the door. It's too bad when your own wife can't say something to you without being accused of nagging all the time.
Yes, it is too bad when a scene like that takes place. And it's even worse if there's the least bit of truth in such an accusation. Because at heart, you want to be pleasant and cheerful, not nagging and short-tempered. But did you ever stop to think that when your disposition does go back on you, it may mean you're what doctors call a nervous irritable, and that coffee nerves may be to blame? Well, don't take that possibility lightly, friends. Because in spite of the many people who can drink coffee without getting touchy and nervous, many others cannot. And that's why, if you think coffee sets your nerves on edge, you should certainly switch to Postum. For Postum just can't affect your nerves. It contains no caffeine or stimulant of any kind. You'll find Postum has a cheering, fragrant aroma and a distinctive, full-bodied flavor all its own. Whenever you dine out, you can get Postum at hotels and restaurants. So for your own good, if coffee nerves trouble you, drink Postum instead of coffee. Drink it for 2 weeks.
long enough to give Postum a fair trial, and then see if the change hasn't worked such wonders with your nerves and disposition that you will always want Postum as your regular mealtime drink. And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, friends, the Women's Protective Association is determined to get a firm hold on politics in Pine Ridge. It has forced the regular village officers to resign and has put up a ticket of its own to fill the vacant positions. The men have induced Lum to seek re-election as mayor in opposition to the women. And Abner, who has also agreed to run on the men's ticket, has discovered his opponent for the job of chief of police is his wife, Lizabeth. As we look in on the little community today, we find Lum and Abner over at the Jotham Down store discussing the matter. Listen.
If you withdraw from the race now, you've done announced yourself. Name's right there on the hand circular. Abner Peabody for chief of police.
Yeah, but I tell you, I can't run again Lizabeth for the office, Lum. Now, she's a heap madder about it than I thought she was.
Well, you've got just as much right to run for that office as she has.
I know it, but I've got to withdraw.
One to goodness. Let her talk you out of it.
She ain't talked me out of it. She ain't said a word except when she first found out I was running again her.
Well, maybe she's got over her mad spell.
No. When she stops talking, Lum, that's when you want to watch her. She's dangerous, Ann. I know her too well.
Oh, she can't do nothing.
Well, she was out there back of the barn this morning practicing with a pistol.
With a pistol?
Yeah. She don't know I seen her, but now when she's mad enough to start learning to shoot a revolver, why, it's time for me to withdraw from the race.
You surely don't think she's practicing enough to shoot you, do you?
Well, I ain't heard her talking about going on no hunting trip.
Well, maybe she's just practicing so if she's elected chief of police, she'll know how to handle a gun.
Yeah, but... Oh... Hey, doggies, I hadn't thought about that.
Well, sure.
Yes, sir, that's just about what she's doing it for. Well, that's a good'un on me.
No, I wouldn't let that stop me.
Oh, no, I won't withdraw now. I just worried there at first. Still, I don't like the idea of her packing firearms, mad as she is.
Wait a minute, there comes Squire. See how the campaign's going here.
Yeah, I know he's causing enough talk. All you can hear down on the street is politics.
Yeah.
Yeah, good morning, Squire.
Yeah, come on back, Squire.
Well, gentlemen.
How's the campaign going?
Well, to be honest, Lum, we're going to have a tough fight. I can see that.
Yeah.
It's a little different from the average campaign. You've got plenty of support if they're allowed to vote for you.
What do you mean, allowed to vote for me?
Well, they'll vote for you and Abner if they can vote without their wives knowing it, Lum.
Oh, Granny's, it's a free country. A man's got a right to vote the way he pleases.
Not if your woman tells you what way to vote for her, Lum. You ain't married. That's your trouble.
Well, how are they going to know how they vote? It's a secret voting.
Well, yes, Lum, but they're going to have women judges and women clerks at the polls. And some of the men are afraid that the women will look on the ticket when they're counting the votes and find out who they voted for and tell their wives.
Yeah, but judges and clerks ain't supposed to say nothing about how folks should vote.
Yes, well, this has developed into something more than a regular election, gentlemen. This is not so much who gets the office as it is a fight between the men and the women of the town to see who's going to run it.
Oh, yeah, we've got to win this election, man.
Moles Moots called me into the back of his barber shop there a while ago and slipped me a $10 bill to go in on the campaign fund.
And his own wife running for mayor.
Yes, of course, he doesn't want anything said about it. His wife finds out about it, why, she'll make it hot for him.
Oh, yeah. I never even knowed we had a campaign fund.
$10 we have. I thought I'd get out a few window cars, put around town.
Well, I don't think that's going to do much good, Squire. Advertising. Looks to me like the only way we're going to get votes is to figure out some way for the men around here to vote for us without their wives finding out.
Well, yes, that's the big problem. There's no doubt about that, Lum.
Tell you, that Women's Protection Association is a mighty strong organization.
Yeah, it's much too strong for the good of the town. Lum. And like I said before, if they're not headed off now, why, there's no telling to what extremes they'll go. A man just won't have any privileges at all.
Well, where you fellers made a mistake is when you agreed to support the organization.
Well, there weren't no way around it, Lum. Had us all locked out of our own homes. Only way they'd agree to let us come back was to support them in whatever they undertaken to do.
You fellers just give up too quick, that was all.
Well, it was certainly done over my protest. But a lot of these men are so completely dominated by their wives that they would have agreed to anything to get the matter settled.
Yeah, I was against it too, but I never said nothing.
I'll tell you, gentlemen, if the women are successful in this election, I'm leaving Pine Ridge immediately. I refuse to subject myself to the marital slavery such a condition would bring about. I've always been able to get along with my wife, but this organization behind her, she's making demands upon me that are unbearable.
Yeah, I can see how you married fellers has got to do something.
Well, we've just got to win this election, that's all. We've got to put on the biggest campaign ever seen in this town. We've got to find some plank for our platform that will defeat them. What it is, I don't know at the moment.
I scratched off a few things here, Squire, we might use in our platform.
What's that, Lum?
I'll lay that thing.
What's that on the floor there, Lum?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is it. First, economy and efficiency in city government. Lower taxes. And number 2. Well, that's the first I got. I had something else thought up, but I forget what it was.
Yes, well, those are tripe, Lum. We've got to have something sensational for this election.
Sensational?
Why, yes.
How about an airport for Pine Ridge?
Oh, well, anybody could do that, Lum.
How about a deep water harbor? Just anybody couldn't do that.
A deep water harbor?
Yeah, I've heard of that. Seen in the paper not long ago where a fella run on that ticket out in California. And he got elected, too.
Well, yes, but they have an ocean out there, Lum.
Oh.
No, we've got to figure out something that'll cause even the women to swing over to our side.
I don't know what it'd be.
Well, we've just got to get our heads together and get to work and figure out something, that's all.
Yeah.
I want to drop over and talk to Uncle Henry Lunsford. He's a pretty good politician, and he might have some good ideas.
Yeah, old Uncle Henry's pretty good at such as that, all right.
And you fellas be thinking about it, too. And if you run across anything that sounds good, why, let me know.
Yeah, all right, Squire.
I'll drop back around this afternoon.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, so long, Squire.
He ain't got no more ideas than we have.
Yeah, we ought to get somebody else to handle a campaign, Lum. He ain't got a dozen friends in town. He can't swing no votes.
Only trouble, if we throw him out, he's going to get mad and go to talking again us.
Let him talk.
Switch over to the women's side. Don't want to start fighting amongst our own party. It's the best way in the world to lose election. Just get a little excitement and fussing in your own party. Seems like we got enough. What did I say there?
I don't know. I was watching Cedric over yonder. Walking down the street there trying to balance that broom on his forehead.
Grannies, I've got it, Abner. Let me get to that telephone. I knowed I'd think of something. Get them to fighting amongst themselves, that's it.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. That's Moe's Moot's house you're ringing there.
I know what it is I'm ringing.
Well, his woman's running again you for mayor, Lum.
Hello? Melvy?
Oh, you ought to do.
This is Lum Eddard's talking.
Talk her out of running.
Ma? Yeah, they talked me into running again, you. I just wanted to tell you, I hope there ain't no hard feelings, for I've always admired you and think you'd make an awful good mayor.
Prattle.
Oh, that's all right. Mose is lucky to have a nice woman like you. I don't care what Lizabeth Peabody says.
Lizabeth?
Huh? Oh, nothing. Well, I oughtn't have said anything about it. She just said something about you yesterday at meeting that I didn't think was very nice.
Oh, I hope them two don't get to fight.
Oh, I don't like to carry gossip, Melvy. I think you come from just as good a family as she does. I don't care what she said. Well, I'd just rather not say, Melvy. I don't like to carry gossip. I think you'll make just as good a mayor as Mamie Seastrunk would.
Oh.
But I just called to tell you that I hope we can still be friends even though we're running against one another for the same office. Yes, Mom. Not at all. Goodbye.
What did Lizabeth say about her, Lum?
Who's somebody that Mamie Seastrunk don't like?
Don't like? Oh, Sister Simpson. Hates and despises her.
That's all I wanted to know.
They got mad.
I don't stir up a ruckus here in the Women's Protective Association. I'm off my base a mile. Hello? Mamie? This is Lum Eddard talking. I just thought you ought to know some of the things Sister Simpson's saying to your back.
Oh, the fur fly there.
Oh, nothing real bad, but I still don't see where she's got no room to talk. Personal, I think you look nice in that new dress. The one you had on yesterday. And stripes don't make you look a bit fatter. I don't care what she says. Well, I'd rather you wouldn't mention my name, Mamie. I don't like to carry gossip. Not at all, not at all. I just felt like you ought to know what she's saying. All right. Not at all. Goodbye. Granny's now, Abner. All we got to do is just sit around and wait for the fireworks to start.
Well, we'll have to admit Lum has an idea here that might work.
The makers of Postum, the favorite mealtime drink in millions of American homes, present those two lovable old characters from the hill country, Lum and Abner. A few months ago, Mrs. A.V. Hanson, housewife living in a Midwestern city, was the last person in the world to worry about getting to sleep at night. She used to say, and it was really true in her case, that she could get into bed and drop off to sleep the minute her head touched the pillow. But suddenly, one night, this happened.
Oh, why can't I get to sleep? I turned off the light an hour ago, and I'm still awake. Oh, this is dreadful.
And that's been going on night after night. What had happened to that woman? What had changed her from a person who could sleep like a baby to a restless, tossing, turning, wide-awake insomniac? The doctor said it was nerves. Coffee nerves. Now, don't think I'm foolish enough to believe that coffee affects everybody's nerves, because it doesn't. There are people, and lots of them, who can drink coffee with no ill effects whatever. But there are plenty of others who cannot. So if you're being robbed of sleep, or if you have nervous indigestion, and you think coffee nerves may be to blame, or even partly to blame, do the sensible thing and switch to Postum. For there's no caffeine or stimulant of any kind in Postum that could possibly affect your nerves. Enjoy Postum, hot and steaming in the cup. It has a mellow, distinctive, full-bodied flavor all its own. And by drinking Postum instead of coffee, see what happens. In just 2 weeks, see if your nervousness isn't gone, see if sleep hasn't returned, see if you aren't feeling better in every way. Drink Postum. There's a reason. And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, friends, you know the men and women of Pine Ridge are deep in a battle for political control of the village. Things have looked bad for the men, too, until the other day, when Lum, the men's candidate for mayor, recalled that the best way to lick an enemy is to start them fighting among themselves. He immediately called each of his 2 female opponents and told her of insulting remarks he had heard women in the village say about her. As we look in on the little community today, we find Lum and Abner over at the Jotham Down store discussing the matter. Listen.
If we can just keep on going like they are now, we're a cinch. We'll have them women so mad they wouldn't vote for one another if there was just one running for the office.
Oh, yeah, Lizabeth said this morning she had to vote for that Melvy Moot. She wouldn't even go to the polls.
Oh, yeah.
And she's going to use her influence to get the other women not to vote for her neither.
Elizabeth's pretty mad at her, huh?
Oh, no, she went over there yesterday and stood out there at the front gate and dared her to come out of the house.
Well, it looks to me like Melvy's the one that'd be mad at Elizabeth instead of the other way around. See, I called Melvy, and and told her Lizabeth said all that stuff about her.
Yeah, and then Melvy turned right around and called Lizabeth up and started bawling her out. Elizabeth never knowed what it was all about.
That's the time. Just let 'em fight. Let 'em go at it. Just don't let on to Elizabeth that I started to.
Oh, no, I ain't gonna say nothing.
Dennis, I don't like to cast compliments right at myself, but it takes a feller that knows psychology to figure out something like that, you know. Get these women folks to fighting amongst themselves. It's the only way in the world we could ever break up that organization of theirs.
Yeah. Well, Squire Skim said himself it was a great idea you had, Lum. Said it's the only smart thing he ever heard of you doing.
He did, Good for him. What was it he said?
Said that was the only smart thing he ever heard of you doing.
Oh, I don't know as I'd go so far as to say that. He don't know what's going on in this head of mine.
He don't, huh?
Now, when I sit around and don't say much, it ain't 'cause I don't know nothing to say. I'm thinking, studying up big ideas.
Yeah.
Turning problems over in my head.
Yeah, I've heard you say that's what you're doing. Yeah. Well, sir, it's a fine thing, Lum, to get big ideas like that to help out on such as this. I'll tell you that, for Squire never had a one in his head, not nary.
Take me right now, I'm studying up another one already.
What's that?
Well, you said a while ago Elizabeth is using her influence to get her friends not to vote for Melvy Moose for mayor. That still don't mean they're going to vote for me. They could vote for Mamie Seastrunk, you know.
Yeah, could.
Now, I got to figure out some way to get them all mad at Mamie.
Well, then they're liable to go back and vote for Melvy Moose.
Well, get them all mad at both the women candidates, I mean.
Oh, yeah. If you could do that, we're seen. Ain't no doubts about it.
I ain't worried about you running for chief of police. You ain't got but one opponent, Jeannie, and that's your own woman, Lizabeth. They're all mad at her anyway.
Yeah, and I know Mamie Seastrong said it out with Sister Simpson, too.
Yeah. No, that's causing the ruckus, all right.
Oh, there ain't no doubts about it.
I told Mamie Sister Simpson that she said that her dress made her look fat. That's what made her so mad. I know that'd start the fireworks.
Oh, yeah.
Someone said they had a hair pulling down Dick Huddleston's store yesterday.
Oh, they did. Clinched with one another. Grandpap Spears was telling me about it this morning. Said Mamie was in there getting the mail. Sister Simpson walked in the door and everything got right, quiet, you know. Finally, that Mamie tore into her and just mopped up the floor with her.
Well, I do know. I reckon Sister Simpson's surprised to death. See, she never knowed that I told Mamie all that stuff she's supposed to say.
I know it. And she don't know yet what Mamie's mad about. But she's sure out working again her in this election, I'll say that, though.
That's the time. That Sister Simpson will swing a lot of votes, too.
Oh, yeah. She's sort of a leader here in town amongst the women folks. President of the Literary Club and the School Improvement Association, you know.
Yeah, now if I can find some way to get her mad at Melvy Moose, too, we'll be all right.
Yeah. Let's see. How could we stir them two up right good?
Might call her and tell her that Melvy was making remarks about that song she sung in services last Sunday.
Oh, that'll get her. Yeah, she's awful touchy about her singing.
Oh, yeah. She wouldn't carry off no prizes on her singing no way.
Who, Sister Simpson?
Yeah.
Well, I think she's got an awful pretty voice.
Got a funny taste.
Huh?
When she's singing with that choir, body can hear clean above everybody else. Always gets a note or two ahead of the other. Reckon she figures she can be heard better that way.
Yeah, well, she's got a good stout voice all right now, Lum. Take her on a right clear day with the wind behind her, I believe you could hear her a good 2 miles.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, she's sensitive about her voice all right. That might be the stuff right there.
Yeah, that's the best thing to start a fight over. Let's see, what's her ring?
Short and too long.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bound to end up in a fight. That'll get one. Ain't no doubt about it. Fur will fly.
I'll tell her Mamie Seastrunk said her voice sounded like a screech owl.
That'll do it, Lum.
Granny's ought to run for president. As many ideas as I think of about getting votes. Hello, Sister Simpson?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, is Sister Simpson there?
I timed 2 wildcats together.
You don't know where she's at, do you? What meeting? Oh, where are they having that? Well, I do know. All right, thank you. Goodbye.
Weren't there, huh?
No, they're having a meeting of the Women's Protective Association over at the schoolhouse this afternoon.
Oh, sure, I know that. Yeah, I heard Lizabeth telling Pearl about it this morning.
Well, I think I'll walk on over that way and catch Sister Simpson as she comes out of the meeting and tell her all that stuff to the telephone there.
It will mind out that Mamie Seastrong don't hear you now, Lum.
Oh, I'm making them all promise they won't say where they heard what I'm telling them.
Right, doggies, Lum, wait a minute. I don't know whether that's the right thing to do or not. Now, that's just a little unhonest, you know it?
Well, I can straighten it all out after the election. I'm doing it for the good of the town. We can't afford just to sit here and turn this town over to the women folk.
No.
I'll be back after a little. Here comes Cedric.
Yeah, I seen him.
Yeah, howdy, Cedric. What do you do, Mr. Lum? Abner's in the store there. He'll wait on me.
Well, I never wanted nothing no way. Just come over to sit a while.
Yeah, come on back, Cedric.
Howdy, Mr. Abner.
Howdy. What do you know, Cedric? What's new?
Oh, not much of nothing, I reckon.
What you got there?
Oh, just a book here I bought for my little sister.
Well, she ain't old enough to read, is she?
No, but Mom can read it to her.
Let's see this thing. Where'd you get it, Cedric?
Down at Luke Spears.
Luke Spears?
Yes, Mom. Somebody left it in the restaurant there, and I bought it from Luke for a nickel.
Well, I do. Oh, these is fine stories, too, Cedric. Jack and the Beanstalk. Little Red Riding Hood. That's a nice story.
Yes, Mom, I think I know that one.
Yeah, Peter Rabbit.
The wolf had her or something.
Huh?
Is that the one where the wolf had her or something?
She ate the wolf or the wolf ate her. Something about a wolf. I ain't read it in a long time.
Never had a wolf.
Peter Rabbit and I don't believe I ever heard that myself.
Peter Rabbit?
Yeah.
Don't read that in there, Mr. Abner, if you got your glasses.
Well, let's see. I know it here. Oh, yeah, I know this in here, Cedric. That's a story about them three little rabbits, you know, Flopsy and Mopsy and Cottontail. That's it. Something about Farmer Brown or something. I recollect that. What's this here? Oscar the Ostrich.
Oh,
well,
that sounds like a good one.
Yeah, this
What's his name again?
Oscar the Ostrich. Ostrich, I didn't know them oysters, I think. Ostrich. Oh, yeah. Here's a picture of him right there. Let's see. There was once a ostrich named Oscar. Oscar was a good ostrich. He always minded his own business. Well, nice little feller. He would race around his own little sand dune.
Race around what, Mr. Abner?
Sand dunes, whatever that is. He liked to see his reflection in the oasis.
Looking glass, I reckon that means.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I dog it. I believe that was our ring there, Cedric.
That's so interesting, never paid no attention.
Yeah, well, I'll finish it for you in just a minute. Damn, I want to read it myself. Somebody's wanting to order something, I'll just tell them we're out of everything we got here. Hello? Got him down, store. Abner Peabody talk. Huh? What's the matter, Grandpap? Oh, my goodness, what happened to him? They did? Right there in your store? Well, douse some water on him and call Doc Miller. I'll be right over there, Grandpap. Goodbye. Cedric, you'll have to stay here in the store. Lum's got himself beat up.
Beat up?
Yeah, the women of the town found out he's the one that's been starting these stories about him, and they ganged up and jumped on him just now and beat the everlasting daylights out of him. I'll be back after a while, Cedric.
Well, maybe Lum's plan wasn't so good after all. The makers of Postum, the favorite mealtime drink in millions of American homes, present those two lovable old characters from the hill country, Lum and Abner. Tonight, we give you a brief glimpse into the life of Joe Hill, one-time star salesman for his company. Married, 2 children, well on the road to success. Customers liked Joe Hill because he was this kind of person.
Hello? Yes? Why, certainly, Mr. Green. Be glad to. No trouble at all. I'll see that you get your order today if I have to deliver it myself.
Now, that was Joe Hill of several months ago. But listen to him now.
Hello? Yeah? Say, what do you think I am, an errand boy? I can't help it if you haven't got your order yet.
Sure, I'll check on it, but you needn't blame me.
What had changed that man? What had turned him from a pleasant, likable person to a touchy, irritable grouch? His doctor said it was nerves. Coffee nerves. Of course, it would be ridiculous to tell you that coffee sets everybody's nerves on edge, because it just isn't so. Lots of people can drink coffee with no harmful effects at all, but lots of others shouldn't touch it. So if you're grouchy and irritable, or if you can't sleep or have nervous indigestion, and you suspect coffee nerves may be to blame, or even partly to blame, by all means, switch to Postum. Postum can't possibly fray your nerves. It contains no caffeine or stimulant of any kind. Get Postum from your grocer today. Enjoy the distinctive, full-bodied flavor that's Postum's own. And after a fair trial, after drinking Postum instead of coffee for 2 weeks, see if your nerves aren't a lot steadier. See if your grouchiness doesn't disappear. See if your sunny disposition doesn't shine through again. Drink Postum. There's a reason. And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, today's a special election day in Pine Ridge, and the outcome at the polls is very significant because it will definitely determine who will rule the town of Pine Ridge, the women or the men. The all-women ticket is headed by Melvie Moots and Mamie Seastrunk, opposing Lum for mayor, while Abner and his wife Lizabeth are rivals for the office of chief of police. As we look in on the little community today, we find Lum over at the store. Abner is just entering.
Have you heard anything yet?
No, they ain't done counting the votes.
Well, how's it looking first?
Well, I don't know, Lum. I've been snooping around trying to find out how folks voted, but nobody ain't talking much.
Well, I ain't worried particular.
You ain't, huh?
No, the women might vote for one another, but I can't believe the men in this town's going to the polls and vote for the women's ticket.
Well, I hope not. I'd sure hate for my own woman to beat me for chief of police.
No, if one of them women gets elected mayor, I wouldn't have the nerve to show my face around town here.
Well, I still think you ought to stay around them polls today, Lum, handing out cigars and shaking hands with everybody, doing a little campaigning for yourself.
Yeah, and get in another fight with them women. They told me the other day if I showed up around them polls on voting day, they was going to give me a worse beating than they give me Wednesday afternoon.
Well, you surely ain't feared of no woman, Lum.
Oh, I ain't feared of no one woman, but when they gang up on a feller, he ain't got a chance. They're wild, I tell you.
Well, I'd have feared something like that's going to happen, starting all them stores to get them at outs with one another.
Well, it worked, didn't it?
Yeah, worked till they got together on it and found out that you started them. Good enough for you, too, starting a bunch of stuff like that at once sold.
Yeah, I know it.
That's just the way gossips get started. Going to somebody and tell them something somebody else said about them.
Well, of course, I aim to tell them better after the election. All I was trying to do is get them to fussing amongst yourselves and try to break up this Woman's Protective Association.
Well, you'll know better next time, I hope.
Ain't gonna be no next time. Grannies, I'm getting out of politics. If I've got to run again women to get elected, I'd rather just not have the office.
Yeah, I wish now they never had talked me into running again Lizabeth, neither. Even if she was to get elected, I know good and well she'll be harder on me than anybody else in town. Have me to where I'm feared to talk back to her, feared she'll throw me in jail.
Oh, well, you'll get the office all right.
Well, if I do, then, why, she's going to be mad at me, too, for winning the race. I'll lose either way.
Wait, hey, yonder comes Squire. Maybe they got him counted.
Oh, my goodness, I'm scared to find out. I'm going to stop up my ears, Lum, and you nod your head yes or no, whatever he says.
Oh, for goodness sake. Come in, Squire.
Well, gentlemen.
Have they finished counting them yet, Squire?
No, not yet, Lum, but there's no doubt what the count will be. The men's ticket will win this election by a landslide.
You think so, huh?
Oh, my, yes, there's no doubt about it. You know, there's a lot of tricks connected with politics, Lum, that the ladies will have to learn through experience.
Tricks?
Yes, well, I didn't say anything to you about it because I was afraid that you might object. But I stood around down there by the voting booth today and had every man that went in there vote twice for you. Now, we don't care how the women voted, Lum. There's just as many men in town as there are women. So we'll have just about twice as many votes as they'll have. Beat them 2-1.
Well, that's stuffing a ballot box, so ain't it?
Yes, I think they have some such name for it. Yes, Lum. But we had to win regardless of what it took to do it.
Well, supposing they catch on to it, though.
Oh, they were so busy standing around talking, Lum, they never paid any attention to what was going on. That's what I say. They'll have to learn through experience to watch that ballot box.
Yeah, but they'll know when they go to count the votes, Squire. I don't know how many votes is cast in this town, but they'll know when they count them there ain't that many people in town, even.
Well, I think there's somewhere around 300 votes, Lum. But, they don't know that. The women don't. All they do is just go by the number of votes cast, and then they'll have to declare you the winner.
Yeah.
Dad, blame it, nod your head one way or the other, Lum.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I won, huh?
Well, they ain't done counting yet, but Squire says we'll beat them 2-1.
Well, good for us. Well, how'd you know, Squire, they ain't counted them?
Well, I was just telling Lum. They don't say anything about it, Abner, but I made sure down there today that there was enough votes put in that box for you two fellas to win. Most every man in town voted at least twice for you.
Well, can they do that, though?
Well, legally, no, Abner. But these women don't know enough about those things to even suspect.
Well, I sort of hate to win it that way.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, what difference does it make as long as we keep those women out of office? Now, this would be a great town with a woman mayor and a woman chief of police and an all-woman council, wouldn't it?
Yeah, as long as we're doing it for the good of the town, I reckon it's all right. If it was a regular election, I wouldn't hold still for it a minute, though.
No.
Well, now, gentlemen, I think this will be the end of the Woman's Protective Association. This will undoubtedly show them that the men are just a little more clever than they are.
Yeah, doggies, I hope so. I tell you, that woman of mine's been awful hard to live with as long as she had that organization back of her.
Well, it would have been that much worse, too, if they'd won this election and gotten women in all the public offices.
Yeah.
Now, when you get in office, Lum, I think that we should start right out and improve the town here. Let this administration stand out as an example of progress, that the women will never dare oppose us again.
Granny, that's something I'm for, all right, Squire. I'll make them a mayor they'll all be proud of. Maybe this will wake them up to where I can get some cooperation.
Why, yes, and the first thing we got to do, Lum, is to vote some new taxes and raise some money to do it with. You know, there's a lot of things we need around here if we just had the money to get them with. And that's where I think I can help.
Well, good, Squire. I'm in favor of their taxes if they ain't too high.
Yes, well, they needn't be too severe. Now, I'll get to the point. I don't want to take credit for all the success that we've had in this election. But I do think that I've contributed a lot. I've given freely of my time and done everything that I know to get votes.
Oh, there ain't no doubts about it, Squire. You're responsible for us getting elected.
Yeah, I don't believe we could have put it over without you, Squire.
And any way I can return the favors, I'm just glad to do it.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, Lum, because, there is a favor that I want to ask of you.
Just name it and I'll see that you get it.
Well, now, when we start making all these improvements around here, there's going to be a lot of bids let on different projects and a lot of materials bought. Now, you need somebody to handle that, Lum. A man that can devote all his time to that one thing. A city purchasing agent.
City purchasing agent?
Yes, and, that office should be combined with the city treasurer so that the man spending the money will know how much he's got in the treasury to spend.
That makes sense, all right.
And that is where I come in. Plum, I want you to appoint me to that office.
Well, I don't know hardly, Squire.
You just now admitted that I put you in office, Lum. I scratched your back, now you scratch mine.
Stay out of this, Abner. Granny, I don't know, Squire. I want to do what's right, but I'd feel sort of responsible for all that money. I'd have to know that you'd... Well, it's a taxpayer's money, you know. I'd want to know that they got what was coming to them.
Well, you can count on me, Lum. I'll be known as a watchdog of the treasure.
All right, Granny's we'll try it around. Don't see no way out of it, hardly.
Well, now, we want to get these taxes started as soon as possible, Lum. I'll draw up the bill to be presented to the city council, and I'll personally see that the taxes are collected.
That's our ring, I think, Lum.
Never mind, I'll get it. And you must be glued to that chair.
Hello.
Where'd he get that?
Got 'em down, store. Lum and... Oh, howdy, Grandpap. It is? Well, how'd it come out? What's that again now? 680 to 470.
Here, look at there, Abner. What I tell you? Beat 'em over 200 volts.
Well, wait a minute. Maybe I never heard you right. In whose favor? Oh. Well, for the land's sake. Well, thank you for calling, Grandpap.
What's the matter, Lum? You don't mean...
The woman's ticket was elected all the way down.
Boy, there's been a mistake there.
No. Grandpap said I got 470 votes and Melvy Mooch 680.
680? Why, there's not over 300 voters in this town. We'll contest that election. That's what we'll do. We'll demand a recount. I hate to say it, men, but this election is crooked. Somebody has stuffed that ballot box.
Well, it looks like the women of Pine Ridge know a few tricks about politics themselves. Now, don't forget, friends, come along with us next Monday evening at the same time when we again visit Pine Ridge with Lum and Abner. Lou Crosby speaking. And remember, Postum, your best bet for a good night.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.